Look there on the juju's with Thresh. Cannot defend her. I cannot believe.
It's gotta be the game.
I can let the final.
Well gets in behind him, trying to turn it in Radiant. Wave onto everyone. Triple kill for Radiant and Mickey Whale, last man standing. It's a slugfest. Double kill, triple kill, double kill, quadra kill, double kill, triple kill. My God, that was amazing.
Rook's on, Big Swift has gone mega, but they killed us support. Can't connect the chain, and Destiny, Hook is on, Swiffer is dead, Ray locks down Raze, Trippies gets that kill, and Spurs is stuck between the entire Wolfpack. Double kill for Fantix, they're running towards the Nexus.
Hello and welcome to the OPL, of course, brought to you by Hungry Jacks. Big week of games coming your way. I'm Spawn, this is Ejim. We're going to be bringing them to you live from the M1 studio in Sydney. How's your week been so far?
Yeah, pretty good. I feel like just rest and recuperation from the double super weeks we had, and now we're into back to the normal schedule.
And so tell me, how have you been resting? Because I've heard some solo queue stories that I personally am ashamed of.
I've been playing 8.4, Haunting Guys, Bard, into Nash's Tooth, into Leandry's, and it's the most broken thing on the patch. 100%.
So will we see people today pick up Haunting Guys, Nash's Tooth, or Leandry's Torment Bard?
Absolutely not, because I've done the classic Jake Spawn Tiberi, color caster, washed up player, just playing meme stuff in solo queue. He plays AP Alley, I'm playing AP Bard.
But I would like to remind everyone at home that no matter what we build, as long as we are trying our best, it is not a reportable
I win
offense.
so many games, I'm insane.
So let's get into the standings of this before we get into the week's action. It's going to be Order sitting top of the table, 6-1, and even though the Direwolves are undefeated right now on 7-0,
yeah, the 2-0s
are lacking a couple of points there. The Chiefs Esports Club, they're equal, but losing out on their head-to-head, have a chance on Sunday to go up to first spot. Legacy and Avant round out the gauntlet standings right now, but everyone's still in contention because there are still 9 points up for grabs. So whilst Bombers, Sin, and Tectonic are rounding out the ladder, anything can happen.
Yeah,
right
Tectonic
now
kind of has their fate in their own hands today. If they drop a single game to AV, then I think they might just be out of playoff contention.
Exactly right, and that's our first game. Right now we're going to go into Tectonic versus Avant Gaming before Sin Gaming takes off against the Bombers, of course, who came off a win last week before tomorrow's games at 2 p.m. Set it in your calendar. You do not want to miss it. It's Legacy versus Chiefs before Order take on the Direwolves in what will determine what the top of the table looks like. Both of the time these two teams played each other, they were 2-1s. They were very close games. And that, honestly, is a banger of a Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. You expect tracking into where we are in the season as well. You expect to see that trend continue. 2-1s. These should be very close games. I'm excited. Yeah,
but we do have to mention that all of this week is taking place on a new patch. Unless you're nocturnal like I am, you didn't watch Europe this morning, so the first games you're going to get on 8.4 as we start breaking it down for you. Everything in my mind, at least for Oceania, shows that these are going to be quick games. Changes to Baron, changes to Tracker's Knife, maybe Assassin's coming back. Everything's just getting quicker.
Yeah, things are getting real weird. We see a bunch of champion nerfs coming up on your screen right now. Zoe, big one, got nerfed, same as Gangplank and Gnar. Things like that. But yeah, you mentioned the Baron. That's going to be the big one. The interaction with Banner of Command. Double buffs there. Effectively a hot fix on the extra damage to cannons then going into the Banner as well. It means they're just so effective taking down turrets without being contested, really.
Yeah, of course. Banner of Command, not an item that we saw a lot of. However, it makes your siege minions or any minion immune to magic damage, which means that unless you got something like a Sivir or a Jinx, very hard to reach that cannon creep and take it down.
Most wave clears AP. You see it from the mid laners. Yeah. That's the biggest thing there. Other changes, we have a couple of rune changes. PTA, Press the Attack, got buffed overall for single users, so junglers, top laners, things like that. Obviously, the damage amp for your allies got nerfed a little bit because it was just going to be too strong in the bot lane. I think it was Bone Plating is the other one in the Resolve tree, New Mastery. Or New Rune, rather. I always call them Masteries. They feel like the same thing.
They're the same thing,
Similar system, but yeah, it's kind of press the attack but defensive. You get hit with a bunch of damage there, and then the next 3 attacks you take reduced. So I feel like that's a big change then. We'll see it a lot.
And I want to talk about Resolve Secondary, because maybe this is a way to finally get through laning phase. It was kind of a laning phase meta, and then it transitioned into late game team fighting. Maybe now things like Assassins, like short range 80 carry, Sivir, Lucian, will start coming back into the meta because of that Resolve Secondary.
Yeah, and I honestly hope so. Junglers don't have green spot anymore, so their ganks should be more effective. They'll do more damage with red, they'll have a slow on blue, and if laning phase just matters so much more, especially in a meta where we think Mind you, we haven't played a single game of OPL on the patch. This is all speculation on how the OPL teams see it, but it kind of trends towards early games mattering more and the first Baron mattering more. So that's really going to be the big turning point of these games.
And the last thing we have to mention, we talked about jungle item, Baron. The mage item changes just means that Seraph users, anyone that wants to build a tier, now a little bit stronger. Also, the fact that Luden's Echo now has 20% cooldown reduction as well as mana on it. Makes potentially things like LeBlanc and stuff be able to go back towards, CDR items.
Are we going to see some super weird stuff like the Vel'Koz, Luden's first?
I hope so. I think Vel'Koz is actually very, very fun. Of course,
I beat you in the 1v1 on Vel'Koz, so he's obviously broken.
Yeah, all right, cool. On that note, let's throw it over to Laura and Choo Choos, who are alongside on the Analyst Hangout.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, I'm joined once again on the Analyst Hangout by Aaron Choo Choos Bland. Welcome back.
Thank you, Laura.
It's great to have you. As Jake and Bryce mentioned, we have a big weekend in store with the brand new 8.4 patch dropping, but we also have some fiery games lined up. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Looking forward to the most? I'd probably put the Sin Bombers game, just because that was a really close series. I think, did Sin win? Yeah, Sin won that first, but I think Bombers are currently in the air off their win last week,
yes,
so I would like to see them maintain that.
Well, our first game to kick off the weekend will be between Tectonic and Avant. And I think this is actually a pretty important match for Avant to clean sweep 2-0 if they want to get out of the 5th place position and head up the leaderboard as we head towards our gauntlet. And we cannot forget, even though it was in week 4, the last time these two teams met, Tectonic were able to take a game. Choo Choos, I'd love to get your thoughts on this series.
I think they were actually supposed to win that series because in game 2, I think they picked up the first game, and in game 2 they kind of had a lead and then threw it because Swathe stood in bot lane bush for probably 2 minutes and lost his entire advantage. If everyone remembers that, I'm going a bit in detail. But I do think Tectonic thrive in the chaos of 8.4. And I think AV are a team that like to play really laid back, and they can control all outcomes really of every lane. But I think Tectonic are in a good position. They're known to bring out Urgot and these kind of niche picks. So who knows? Maybe Volibear top. We'll just have to find out.
Sounds like you might be giving this series to Tectonic.
Yes. I will give it to Tectonic. I'll give it to them 2-1. Just because I have a lot of faith in them in 8.4.
I like it, going for the underdogs. Yeah, and it'll be really interesting to see what draft they come up with as they explore the chaos of 8.4. I'm going to give this series 2-0 to Avant, though. But remember, if you would like to make your own tips at home, head on over to opltips.com.au. We've got those XP boosts, RP prizes up for grabs, as well as the $25, $50, and $100 Hungry Jacks vouchers. More information on those prizes and how you can enter can be found over at the website at opltips.com.au. And as always, Choo Choos will be answering your questions later on today. So if there's anything you'd like to ask the coach for order and the mid lane superstar, send them over to us on Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag #LikeNoOther. And if your question is picked, you could win yourself a mystery skin. Thanks for your thoughts, Choo Choos.
No
but to get this weekend underway, let's hand it back over to Jake and Bryce.
Thanks so much. Always good to hear from Choos. And
bold tips, Tectonic.
Yeah, certainly was. However, he did mention something that I know you were very excited about. Before we get into this game, Bryce, talk to me about the unkillable force. The guy that just does so much damage with only take items. Your new favorite champion in Volibear. Convince me.
My new favorite champion. I haven't played a single game, but the context for this is we've been having conversations, and Jake's saying that things like Poppy are the actual OP coming out of the patch. And I'm like, Volibear, I'm running around on my bard, and if he is on my screen, I just get absolutely one-tapped. And he can hit the back line. He's the lightning bear. He's just clawing at the front line, hitting the back line as well. He's got his new E. So if you're a Tristana or a Zac, you can just reliably knock them out of the sky. I think it's called SWAT.
Yeah.
Smack him out. I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
I hate it. I think he's absolutely garbage.
If
he gets picked in the OPL, I hope he goes 0-10 and we never see him again. However, let's get into game number 1. It is going to be Tectonic taking on Avant Gaming. And this matchup, we already mentioned it, 2-1. It went to Avant last time. Probably should have gone to Tectonic.
Yep, and I do need to know, Choo Choos was talking about on the couch, I think it was based on Avant's inconsistency, and I think they've shown that they are a pretty inconsistent team. They're a team that relies on a lot of confidence. They come in very confident on game day. They seem to have Legacy's number, but against the likes of Chiefs and Order, they fall down, I feel like, time and time again. But in this Tectonic game, the reason they were losing was Frey and Parbu and the solo lanes just didn't build QSS against the Malzahar. They were like trying to get these weird flanks off. They were just playing undisciplined, and it did cost them a game in the series that many people thought they should have 2-0'd.
Yeah, exactly right. And at the same time, whilst we thought Avant were the favourite and a clear 2-0 favourite at that, Tectonic did have early game advantages. And, you know, we talk about the late game decision making, but you also have to talk about the fact that they were losing laning phases. That was a week that I started thinking that maybe Shock would explode as a mid laner. And if he's going to do it, it's on the current patch.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, Zillion's win rate, and Zillion is a niche pick. If you're not a Zillion player, you don't pick it. So it's not like more people are jumping on an OP. But his win rate went up 2%. That means he is legitimately 2% better on this patch. That is big.
That's insane.
I mean, he's got the highest win rate in all of solo queue. 56% is what Zillion's win rate is right now, I think, in Platinum Plus. He's a monster. Let's get into lineups. I don't want to hear your rebuttal. So let's go to the blue side of Tectonic. Paprise is their top laner. Swathe is their jungler. TikTok Shock will be on the clock. Mr. Egypt. Low and Tilting is their bottom lane, of course. The man that's going to put all this madness into work is Johnny Cyclone Weatherly, their coach. And they're going up against the boys in white and blue, sponsored by Maxibon. Nice little ice cream there. Pabu, only Frey. And then Blinky and Jake make up the two halves of the bottom lane Bash Bros. Charlie Wraith, of course, is their coach that's going to try and navigate this.
I've never had a Maxibon. I've actually never had one.
Is that
on Australia?
I was going to honestly say, which side of the Maxibon do you eat first?
Oh, I don't know. Straight down the middle? Is that disgusting? Is that like fish when he used to eat a Kit Kat, like whole? He wouldn't snap it off and eat the single one?
So the correct answer to this question is the fact that you have to hold the ice cream sandwich, because otherwise the chocolate melts. So
you're holding the ice cream bit?
No, so there's biscuit and ice cream in the middle. So it's called an ice cream sandwich, right? You hold that, you eat the chocolate coated bit, and then you eat the ice cream sandwich secondary. Maxibon, great ice creams. Get down to your local convenience store and pick one up on the way back. Get yourself some fries from Hungry Jack's, and then of course just chill out and watch some OPL. Pause the stream before you go. It's going to be Skarner and Sion banned away first.
Be interesting. It was kind of alluded to on the couch. Tectonic are the team, if any, that's going to pull out some wacky picks. So see how the draft progresses from here. Pretty standard bans. You mentioned the tier users did kind of just get a straight up buff. So we see Rise banned away already.
I'm just going to interrupt you because I was just thinking about something and completely ignoring what you're saying. Are you a dip your fries in ice cream?
No, that's gross. If you do that, you're a
Laura's also shaking her head.
You're a weird guy.
I also don't do it.
Oh, okay,
Second question. If you're going to go buy a Whopper Junior meal, do you put your fries inside your Whopper?
No. That's also weird.
No, I think that's good. I think fries inside burgers are great. It's like when you get a brekkie burger and a hash brown inside. I'm real hungry now. Skarner, Rise, Nidalee, take it away.
Yeah.
You mentioned only being a Nidalee player in the pre-show, I think.
Yeah, and I want to talk about it for a little bit, because junglers like Only, I feel like, who isn't necessarily that good on the tanks. He's a legacy Nidalee player, things like that, wants to get in there on the carries. And I feel like this meta, where you can't just pick Zac, build a tracker's knife, and ward up your jungle and play pretty defensively, this is kind of an opportunity for him to shine. Obviously, won't be playing the Nidalee this game because Tectonic banned it away, but he has been playing it a fair amount in solo queue, and I feel like stylistically, this patch sort of opens things up for a jungler like Only.
I think it does. I also think, however, that we will still see tanks, because tanks ganks are very good. And Zac used to be able to be warded out early game, so we would have to wait till like level 7 or level 9. Now as a Zac, if you can get in behind, you just walk behind someone, start queuing them, slapping them together. Really nicely done. It's going to be a Kha'Zix picked up, however, carry jungler, as well as the Lovers duo, your favourite lane in the game to play, just not with me anymore. It's going to be Xayah and Rakan picked up.
Yeah, but the Kha'Zix first pick, they do opt in for that one. Swathe has had a lot of success on this champion, I feel like, so far.
I feel like Swathe is a better second in jungler. When he's first in, he makes some strange decisions.
Okay.
When
you mean like
following
if he's the one invading?
Yeah,
okay.
No, not invading, like team fighting.
Oh, yep.
So like if he's a Zac slingshotting Sejuani, throwing ultis, I feel like every now and again he's like on a different wavelength to his team.
Yeah.
But if you're something like a Kha'Zix that you go in second, so like Paprise or Shock engages and then you go in, I feel like he's actually more successful in that way. It's going to be Ezreal as well as a Shen picked up.
Yeah. First round for blue side, so we're not too sure if it's going to be the spot or the top lane. Obviously, things changing up. Tilting has had some successful games. I feel like it's one of his actually better performing champions, especially against Xayah Rakan. Pretty heavy trading lane. AB putting a lot of eggs in their bot lane's basket so far with that early pick, not to mention the Galio. Frey going back to the old favourite there.
Yeah, exactly right. That's going to be Rakan plus Galio. Always a good engaged tool there. I also think the Paprise is underrated. I think that Tilting being on Shen facilitates a lot of what Paprise wants to do. We've seen him solo kill people on things like Ornn.
Yep.
Can't wait to see if he picks up something like a Darius or a Volibear, your favourite champion.
Or a Poppy, Matt. What about the Poppy?
Or a Poppy on the current patch. It's going to be Azir banned away, the Emperor of Shurima.
Yep. Not to mention the Cassio, another tier champion. They're all just getting banned out there. So 10 seconds left for Tectonic. They've not really shown too much with the composition so far, where I feel like AV have made it very broadcast what they're trying to do. They want to have an engage-heavy, steamroll you, run over the team fight sort of composition, so it makes sense to get rid of something like the Zac.
I was going to say, and there you go, Zac, Jarvan gone, but they left out the biggest one in Camille, because you can flash away from a Zac. You can flash out of a Jarvan Cataclysm. You can't flash out
She follows.
of a Camille ult.
No.
She locks you in there and then beats you to death with her blade legs.
Yeah. Not to mention, like the Cataclysm, it doesn't lock you in there, whereas Camille's ulti literally does. So Galio's ulti, Hero's entrance. Hero's entrance.
No, Camille's.
Camille's ulti, the Hextech ultimatum.
There we go.
Locks you down and you can't get out.
For those that don't know, a little bit of backstory.
Okay.
Ejim in off-season was like, I hate casting and just saying, gets hit by a Camille ulti,
Sedge
gets
ulti.
hit by a Sedge ulti, gets hit by a Galio ulti.
I'm
So
working on it.
he called me a wiki grinder on Twitter.
Okay, you are.
You are a wiki grinder when it comes to champion ability day.
I'm working on it, mate. I'm working on it. We're getting there by the end of it.
I like it. It's going to be Melzahar picked up again.
What's his ulti called?
Nethergrass.
Yeah. Blair. Yeah, we'll call it Blair in the middle of it.
Cho'Gath also locked in, as well as Sejuani about to be hovered here.
Yep, so that would mean the Camille in the top side actually going to Parbu, not only in the jungle. Sejuani, pretty standard pick overall, but no, they actually opt in for the Jax once again. Pretty
Press the
tanky
attack
composition.
user.
Yep.
Potentially going to be picked up here. You said it's been buffed. What does it do for him?
Yeah, 100% just that 3 proc and then you start dealing extra damage. It means we've seen a lot of Warwick. I feel like we're not going to see him in competitive play, but his solo queue win rate, absolutely insane. I couldn't give you the stat off the top of my head.
But very good.
Yeah, he's very good, very strong. Just if he lanes that ulti, he starts proccing it and then completely one-shot.
He's also up to the mid-50s, and he's not going to be touched, I think, in the current proposed patch notes.
Yep.
Which means I think he will be seen. Because something completely off... We'll get into the pick bans after when we get into game. But something completely off topic is Warwick's Q, when you learn how to use it, follows flash.
Yep.
You actually can't flash out of Warwick ganks once he is in bite range.
Yep.
Which I think is a very underrated part of his kit, because if you hold down Q, he goes to the opposite side. If you have Fear on, even if they flash, they kind of run back the flash distance.
Yep.
And then Warwick just eats you alive.
There's obviously that tiny, minuscule window that you kind of have to actually cast the ability on the Warwick, so it does have some skill involved. It's not like you just walk up, press Q, and you're like, hey, follow the flash, that was easy.
But pro players are greedy.
Yep.
I actually think it happens more in pro play than it does in kind of solo queue, because you're thinking, I'm going to hold my flash, and then you're like, oh, it's too late. However, we're about to get into not Champions League. We're about to get into game for game 1 of the week. It is Tectonic, the Kiwis taking on the Maxivon All-Stars from Avant Gaming.
And I kind of like what AV have done with their draft here. They've gone back to basics. They had a pretty rough Super week. I think they beat Legacy and then lost to Chiefs and Order and lost pretty handily. They were playing things at the bot lane like the Morgana, the Jaina lanes. They wanted to play these finesse compositions, and then they've just gone back, full engage, got themselves a Galio, a Camille, Xayah, a Khan. Makes a lot of sense with where they're at in their season and how important it is for them today to pick up the 2-0.
There you go. In Oceania alone, Warwick has a 53-ish% win rate. So he's getting up there. Anything over 50 is generally very strong. However, we are onto Summoner's Rift. Tectonic versus Avant. As you said, a back-to-basics comp right now for Avant. However, let's not talk about that further, because Laura is alongside Cyclone, and hopefully we get to hear about Tectonic's draft.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm standing here alongside Cyclone. Now, there's still a chance for Tectonic to make the gauntlet coming into this week. Did you prepare any differently for this series, and what does this series mean for the team?
Obviously, it's a rematch against AV, and we'd quite like to show that we can take games off them, and series, hopefully. In terms of our prep, we've just tried to keep things pretty simple. I think we had a few concepts that we worked on that we had some success with, but didn't manage to solidify enough to deliver on the stage, so we're kind of taking it back to basics here.
You threw a few bans towards Only in the jungle there. Is that you and Tectonic trying to pressure him onto a champion he may not be comfortable in?
It's just that I think Only is a pretty big piece in terms of how AV play their game, and he brings a lot of early game power, and if AV get going, they can be scary, so we're just trying to remove what we think is their point of most leverage.
Talking about that, taking a look at their composition and keeping in mind all of the changes that have come into 8.4, what's the biggest threat you can see?
I think the Galio is pretty scary. They banned out both the really good matchups for it, so we don't really have a great answer in lane, and team fighting will be pretty terrifying against that, so we need to really respect that and play around the cooldowns really well.
Well, best of luck with the series, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Cheers.
As we have an engage on the bottom lane, great to hear from Cyclone and Laura, but Blinky's going in. You can see Big damage onto low.
Yep, Taunt did land from tilting though, so Jake also has to pop his pot there. Obviously, because he is a Spell Thieves user, small thing to talk about. He doesn't have Dematerializer. The only one on the lineup of AV is Frey, and that's kind of, in the last 2 days, reared its head as the answer to a Baron buffed Super Creep with the Banner of Command.
Yep.
So potentially we might see Frey having to hold that one on because Jake's not going to be able to do that one.
Yeah, it's really weird because I feel like you can't hold it, but then I feel like you have to hold it.
Yeah.
It's kind of that catch-22 situation right now. Other thing I want to mention, which I think people will fly under the radar, is Only's clear is going to be quicker, but he took a little bit more damage and had to use an extra pot on his first clear. So you'll see Kha'Zix has 1 and Only has none because he started W.
Yep.
Jax's normally start E. Just a little thing to point out. I mean, see whether it amounts to anything, but he is a camp up right now. Oh no, they're equal in camp, so it didn't even really buy him anything.
But he's going to end up on the bot side. Both junglers, for the most part, will be down there. We saw that engage coming out of AV's bottom lane already, trying to assert the dominance. And I feel like Tectonic aren't really going to be playing too much around their bot lane this game. Ezreal, Shen just want to kind of sit back, hit level 6. Low just wants to be able to farm up and help the top side of the map with his ulti.
Yeah, so Only and Swathe will kind of spot each other out here. Only got himself a Scuttle Crab, so is a little bit healthier right now. However, Swathe's pots up. Shock doing well in the mid lane, however, as already mentioned by Johnny Cyclone Weatherly, actually, hold that thought. No, let's go for it. Galio kind of without the Cassiopeia there is a little bit of a lane bully.
Seeing that right now. The big thing, or a small thing, I guess, Lee Sin players kind of hate the lack of green smite. Jack's also another champion that sometimes does actually have to rely on the ward hop, so potentially just going to have to hold on to that yellow trinket. We saw him jump to that one with that invade, warded up the Raptors. But see how that goes for the rest of the game right now. Things just stabilizing across the board. Parbu pushing in the top lane. Cho'Gath just going to try and farm up this way for the most part. Parbu actually gets a nice trade.
Yeah, very nice trade out of Parbu. And you can see that right now Papyrus has to pot up. However, he is upping creeps pretty significantly. Frey gets a good trade here. Going to knock up Shock. Actually gets a double passive proc, which always does some nice damage. Spellbook from Shock means that he'll just teleport back to lane.
Yep,
Want to talk about that? Oh, actually, no, I don't, because Low gets engaged on actually very nice buffering of the Arcane Shift.
Yep.
What is better? Taking the support item on mid lane if you want extra wards, or taking, so that, of course, is a Spell Thief, or taking Targons on your jungler, if you're a tank jungler?
I feel like mid lane. The item is just more efficient. Junglers have to kind of set themselves behind. They're also a role that gets less gold, so you're like delaying your Warmogs, which is kind of traditionally the first item for tanks. They're just going to fight over these Raptors here. But mid laners kind of have more gold to spend, and the item is just more efficient.
Only actually going to be stunned up here. Red Smite not available for both of them. Jumps back on him to Sway. And very nicely done. Will get himself 2 chickens for his trouble.
Yeah, it was a nicely timed invade out of Swathe, because obviously Shock did get that trade onto him mid lane and TP'd back. So right now has the advantage in mid lane, so only has to back that one away. Does pick up the Raptor, but forced out of his jungle.
You have to think the reason the advantage is there is the fact that Shock has used all of his minion dematerializers, whereas 2 still available from Frey. Does not look like they're going to hold on to any, however. So that little bit of counterplay will be gone from late game. Paprise has shoved in Parbu and is up 8 CS. The Cho'Gath putting in work, Mr. Bryce.
Yeah, putting in work. Was the jungler Swathe up here as well, so potentially if they do get some nice trades down onto Parbu. Cho'Gath, if he hits level 6, very easy dive. You can silence at the Camille, so you can't dodge any CC with your ulti, stuff like that, and you can just one-shot her from that amount of HP. But Tilting looking for a play in the mid lane. Frey, kind of sitting back right now.
Flash forward here. If they bring down Kha'Zix, they've got the Nether Grasp available. Tilting can also layer that CC nicely. They go for it. Where's the taunt? There it is. Actually flashes as well. That will be first blood picked up. Very nicely done by Tilting.
Yeah, that's going to be the first blood going over to the Malzahar. And I feel like Malzahar's, as we tracked through the weeks of the OPL, found it harder and harder to actually get that level 6 free kill, which is what you think of. Malzahar hits the 6, Nether Grasp, walk up mid lane, take that kill, which is exactly what they were able to execute there. And I feel like very nice play out of Tectonic. Good timing as well, because AV's bot lane were base. They haven't really cemented themselves too much of an advantage in the bottom lane. You see stylistically, Low gone for Tier Cull. He doesn't want any business fighting this one. So getting that advantage from Shen up the river to mid lane, big deal.
And I feel like this is something that some support players don't really grasp, and that is when you are needed in lane, as Tilting actually gets chucked out, stunned up. He has no flash available here, will be burnt. Shield coming out. Does he have the taunt? No, just ignited and will fall down. Blinky grabs a kill in response.
Can they actually set up a dive? Only sitting behind, low, looking for a ward, but Only might just find him here.
Yeah, certainly will. There's the empowered strike. However, you're going to have to go back through turret.
Yep.
Creeps will arrive in time, so Low a little bit more difficult to dive now.
Yep, Swait sitting on a ward doing, I think, his red buff right now, so they knew he was there. Only did not want to chase Low to the left-hand side of his screen toward his base, because would have been cut off from his bottom lane. But this turret incredibly low already, not even level 6 when they were able to pick up that kill. So Blinky and Jake only having to burn the ignite, and they still haven't used their ultis in this lane.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a big misstep, the fact that, you know, Swathe hasn't covered this turret at all. It's going very low. He's got level 6 right now. Do they get it is a big question. I don't think they will. However, Low now going low. Blinky flashes in. Ultimate not going to be popped. Yes, it is now. In goes Swathe looking for the kill. He has a second use of that passive, but will not go for it.
Yeah, have to think. Blinky kind of just wasting both summoners there. Doesn't get himself a kill, but they will have to back away. But no, actually, they're sitting around in lane. Only is still on the bottom side of the map. Frey has a little bit of pressure in the mid lane and can influence the bot side with his ulti. Has not used that yet, so they're looking to just transition this one into a drag, and they don't want to pressure the turret anymore.
Yeah, I think with Blinky they can't really do it. No summoner spells available. Wouldn't have enough mana for that ulti, so instead they take the free objective on the map. Tilting gonna trying to stick his beak in here. Gets charmed up. No flash available, remember. In they come. That's going to be Galio as well. A lot expended for just a kill onto the Shen.
And do they even pick up the dragon on the back of this? Jake is going to channel his recall, so is Only. So expending Galio ult, Rakan ult, the flash out of Only to just get a kill on a 0-2-1 Shen.
I don't even think they needed to do that.
Yep.
I think he was dead as soon as Only flashed onto it. So much expended. It means now that Pabu in this top lane is being proxied on. I mean, what really can he do here? Get silenced up. Paprise now looking for the fight. Pabu doesn't have the use of that passive anymore. He's going to lose a whole creep wave. He actually might die. Only is coming, as you mentioned. Where is the eat coming out of Paprise? Not going to be available, so he will fall down and overreach from the jungler of Tectonic.
That's exactly what it was. Paprise overreaches there. He was able to proxy farm because all of the pressure from AV was going bot lane. The pick up onto Tilting, they were looking at the dragon. He takes that opportunity to farm between the waves, denying Pabu, but commits for the kill. Only bases, walks up there. He was fine. He was ahead in CS. The wave of Pabu was dying to the turret, and he got a nice trade. He could have just backed out. But he commits to the kill. He's going to have to probably burn his TP to get back to wave here.
And this is what we mentioned, that it's going to be a quicker kind of game, because with less vision, you know, Kha'Zix can't pop into topside jungle and drop a couple of wards as you would if you have a tracker's knife at this stage of the game. Protect against that. Instead, he commits for a very greedy kill. Should have committed to the chunk and then backed away. And loses so much. Checking in with CS values right now. You can see Shock doing a very good job in the mid lane. Not the best counter to Galio, and he's doing very fine. Bottom lane, it's going to be an advantage for Blinky in the same light. Across the rest of Summoner's Rift, pretty even.
Yep, as you would expect right now, the turret is incredibly low still, so that's kind of the free first brick that is set up
Flash
for
available for Shock, and potentially go for this one if he wants to try and take down Frey.
Only got really enough mana for 1Q. He's going to burn it there. Swathe coming in.
In comes Swathe, and can he even E out? He's going to taunt up. Swathe is trying to stay in front of him to block that E. Will burn the flash. That is a worthwhile gank. Really nothing used.
Yep. Frey has to burn the flash as well. Nice taunt to combo so that Swathe can't block out his E. So he gets himself to safety. But this does mean that Tectonic have pressure around the mid lane. He's going to back away. Has that TP still available, but you think AV are going to want to be using that bot lane. Both ultis up in the bot side of the map for Blinky and Jake. A play under this bot tower to get first brick could snowball the game very heavily. They're looking.
In they go. Jake looks for it. However, they do have to be careful from AV's side. There is a ward in the second brush. Double TP available for Tectonic means if they overextend for this, it's a double kill and the play will swing.
Only just calling out that revision. The bot side of the map is where AV are putting all their control. Taunt does land
in again. Taunt lands, as you mentioned. Ward going to be taken down.
But everything back to standard so far. Nethergrass still not up for Shock. They did just use that one mid to get the advantage. So Paprise, once again on the top side of the map, just kind of walking down the river. And this is where you see not much vision on the top side. Just kind of checking for pinks down there, looking to kind of contest around mid lane, but has to go back up to answer Pabu in the side lane too. Further your point, with the trackers gone, in terms of split pushing, it's going to be so hard for split pushers to safely play later in the game in the side lane, because what would normally happen is they'd hold on to their yellow trinket or potentially have a blue, and they'd be able to place one ward for themselves. But they really needed the jungler or the support to kind of walk over there and like play some deeper vision to see the flanks coming out from mid lane. So Camille, Pablo on that one, as this game progresses, potentially got to make it easier for Paprise to kind of hold him in the split if he doesn't net himself any form of advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing people would be thinking is, why do you guys keep talking about it? Just hold more yellow trinkets. Well, a yellow trinket ward is not the same as a Sightstone ward.
Yeah, it only lasts 60, I think, to 120 seconds. So 1 to 2 minutes versus the 3. It just does not last as long. Just strictly a worse ward. Not to mention, vision denial has always been more important than actual vision in League of Legends. So that's why you see junglers and supports going for the sweeper. So if your jungler has to hold on to the yellow for longer, that means setting up plays for yourself is a lot harder because potentially they see it coming.
Yeah, exactly right. During that conversation, Avant was able to take down bottom lane turret. So while CS is in favor of Tectonic pretty much everywhere, 1,000 gold lead. However, Shock makes a very nicely timed roam to the top side of the map. Going to help Paprise out to pick up a first turret of the game for Tectonic.
Yeah, but on the other side, Ping's going down. They're looking for the dive.
Grand entrance again. They're going to take the Shen ulti onto low. No, Tilting does get caught out. Shock comes down, however. Very nice Nethergrass into the knock-up as well. Paprise is in there, and that's what we were talking about. Double TP means they turn that gang.
And AV overcommit to the play there. They did not get the turret as well, so just lose 2 deaths. The trades coming out from Tectonic means they're actually up in gold right now.
Yeah, exactly right. And it gets scarier because I think that their team fight in a 5v5 situation is actually just superior. They do so much damage to a single target. Nethergrasp into Cho'Gath eat, that even if you start up the fight, you're going to wait for Galio to come in. Actually, this is going to be the engage out of Parvu. Does get silenced up, will get knocked up. Does he fall down? No, on the back end will live. Only now in a little bit of danger. That is a shutdown waiting to happen, but they successfully cut away.
Looking for the dive in the mid lane, but they did not get about half HP. So everything just going to reset for a moment here, but I have to agree, it's really about the execution for AV. They have a one-button combo. If Galio gets in and he doesn't land on top of the carries, if they can't take down the Malzahar or the Ezreal or the Kha'Zix, then AV really have nothing left. They've all just got one go button and that's it.
Yeah, and the big thing for me is if Rakan dives in, or Jax dives in, or Camille even dives in, if they just get grabbed instantly and blown up, Galio takes 3 seconds to appear. And in that time, there is more than enough damage for whoever initiates a fight to die. So you have to make sure that if you're initiating, you're at least grabbing Shock or Swathe, because I feel like that's where a lot of that single target burst damage will come from.
But then they also have the Shen, the safety in that. They just have so many tools to actually keep them alive. Whilst we were talking about that, the Cho'Gath went back and bought himself a Righteous Glory. Interested to see if he does go for the banner. Will it be the first one we see in the OPL? We saw a lot of top laners in the LCS, EU LCS, building it this morning.
I feel like top lane won't build it this game. I feel like Tilting will build it, just because he's going to be against a Camille. And Camille deals with Baronet up creeps absolutely fine. This is a Rumble or Parbu's Rise or something in the top lane. I think that we will, against magic damage users, actually see a lot of rush banners.
Yeah, 100%, but I feel like it's less in this current meta about the side lane, about the Camille that can't clear that one. It's about once you get to 20 minutes and Baron becomes such a high priority, you're kind of using it in the group and you're defending it. So it doesn't really matter that Camille deals with it in the side lane. The Gangplank can kill it. They are AD champions. It's more about, it's like a win more almost, but it's just so effective that despite it being a win more, it's just so strong.
Yeah, exactly right. But I feel that's when it goes to the support. I feel like if it's good in your lane, then top laners can get it.
Okay.
But if it's good in the group, then support should just pick it up. Given the fact that, you know, we're not talking about team fighting at that stage. We're talking about playing defense the banner. As Swathe goes in, gets a very nice chunk onto Only. That's cute.
And another real interesting thing, actually, is they're just going to trade out a little bit of damage. Frey going to clear that ward. Is Jake is really, as we were mentioning, the crux of AV's composition. He's the one that has to get the engage
going in
down.
again. He actually goes very low. Nice dodge field means that Blinky will return no damage.
And as we've seen, he has been able to so far. We're only 15 minutes in, so not at late game just yet, but he's going to have to invest in a QSS eventually.
It's a big damage. Flash forward, ulti. We're not watching it. We're watching a Cho'Gath farm. Top lane as well. There's action everywhere. Can't really blame the spectators. Tilting may have to flash. Only actually will flash on him. Very nice mechanics.
Yeah, things happening everywhere. Obviously not on screen. Frey has been forced out of lane, and Swathe is now posturing topside to try and herd AV away. This mid turret is already half HP, but the TP will come back from Frey. He's not even going to get the full heal right now. Going to get to about 3/4 before he lands back mid.
However, it does have the ulti and thought the red buff was under attack, so wanted to be able to defend that if only wanted to go for it. Parvu now potentially going to be knocked up. No, tumbles out of the way.
This is exciting. This is what we thought. OPL teams. Really, you look at LCK 8.4, maybe we're going to have some slow games anyway. You know, that's the style they like to play. But OPL, they want to fight. We see this one. We didn't see how it actually started, so nice bit of poke coming out of Tectonic, but that taunt missing is the biggest deal there. Jake just counter engages, only coming through. They don't actually get themselves a kill because of a nice flash from Tilting right there. But burning that taunt, that's really all Shen has in a 2v2. You don't want to be burning the ulti onto low. You want to be using that cross map. So as soon as he burns the taunt and it misses, that spells the go button for AV.
But I feel like this is another game in which Tectonic solo laners are just brute force outperforming their opponents. And against someone like Avant, you don't necessarily expect to see that. Pabu, one of the big up-and-coming names in top lane, has been very vocal about this is his first full-time year and he's looking to make an impact. Well, Paprise, honestly,
he's chilling.
Has just smacked him around this game.
But he's actually just chilling. He's got Swathe in his back pocket here. They're baiting
actually,
Pabu
they're going to go for it. Pabu already used that passive in jump Swathe. Just gets eaten, and that's what I said. They've got more than enough damage to sort this one out before he comes in. However, very nice combo from Frey. Will means he trades 1-for-1.
Yeah, actually landed onto the Kha'Zix. Swathe did not expect it. The taunt E combination means he dies with flash.
Yeah, exactly right. And now charmed up is Paprise. He's going to shortly follow. Very nicely done from Jake and Frey to continue that fight.
Yeah, but if we take a look at mid lane, Tectonic are looking for the answer right now. It is a 5v3, but this turret is already fairly low. They've only got 2 minions, but Malzahar can spawn more to tank up the turret. So Blinking clearing those ones out means they still do have the debuff. They do take down it.
Yeah, exactly right. Now Blinky's looking to go aggressive, but he gets taunted up. Jake goes in, misses. Everyone tilting now, even with Aftershock not tanky enough. And Woe just jumped into a wall. You hate to see it. Has to burn the flash as well. Tilting, taunts away, will eventually fall down. Hextech Ultimatum will secure Shock's life, and that's a 2-for-0.
And we're sitting in League of Overreaches right now. You have to feel like Tectonic are on different pages. Tilting is going in for the engage onto Blinky. He does land it, but too many members of AV were streaming in. From bot lane, you have Frey walking up. Pabu TPs into the top side. They just have flanks all over the place. And Tectonic were just trying to get the turret and get out.
Yeah, and now Paprise has to actually burn this teleport, trying to defend the turret. See whether they stick around, because one more time I feel like that's an overreach out of AV. Just take the teleport advantage and back away. And at 18 minutes in, we have seen 12 kills, 3 turrets fall down.
I like it.
Lots of them on the verge of falling as well.
Yeah.
And a very action-packed game of League of Legends.
Action-packed is the name of the game so far, but it's pretty interesting stylistically how the bot lane of AV is ahead, but the solos are ahead for Tectonic.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense with the Zyra Rakan AV. We mentioned it in Champ Select. We've seen the early game, how it's played out for them. They've overreached on the top side with Pabu and Frey, but they do have their big, potent bot lane ahead.
So I want to take a big step back there. With how the first 20 minutes of this game has gone, this is kind of the first glimpse that Oceanic fans would have got of patch 8.4. In the league, who does this now suit? Is this now a Sin Gaming patch? Is this now a Direwolves patch, a Legacy patch? In your opinion, with how the game is currently being played, fast-paced, high kills, who's going to benefit?
I feel like it's the teamfight teams. It's the things like Sin, Chiefs, Order, things like that. I feel like slow, controlled teams like Legacy and Direwolves, they now have less vision to kind of strangle you out with it. That style just becomes harder. It's not like they won't be able to execute on it.
This is what we're talking about. Pabu, nearly face checks. Shock could have honestly flashed and grabbed him then, but Swathe had left the brush.
Yep, doesn't find that one, but they will be able to play those styles, but I feel like it's just less safe and it's more risky, so it'll be interesting. Tracking into the end of the week, we're going to see all these teams play if they do stick to their guns and the styles they've been playing in previous patches, or if they try and adapt and play the Fido 8.4 that we're seeing in this game.
And we're seeing an adaptation out of Swathe. First, Kha'Zix on 8.4, he actually has the evolved wings. So potentially looking for a little bit more resets in teamfight, looking to be able to jump around.
It's pretty interesting, though. They've got a tank jungle, they've got a tank mid laner. You're not really going to be able to reset on a side lane with the Camille, so only really 2 options to get a reset in Blinky and Jake in a team fight.
I feel like it makes sense with Malzahar, however, because if he grabs him and you jump in,
kill him
instantly, get the heck out, hard reset the fight and play around an objective, whereas W Evolve was more of, the break Banshee's Veil, clear out wave, be annoying kind of card.
Yeah, I back it. Makes a lot of sense here, especially when, despite even a numbers advantage, for Tectonic, AV still, if they can land their combo, if only dies, they still have the 4 pieces of the combo.
Coming out. Jake goes in, gets a 3-man charm. Galio follows up, and you can see Swathe jumps in. He's looking for only who flashes the wall. Swathe still wants him on the back end of the fight. That is a massive knock-up from Paprise. 2 for 2 right now, and you can see that Blinky and Frey are the only 2 left alive. Do they continue this fight, or do they just back away? That was all without low. Yeah,
very split engage at AV. Members on the top side, members on the bot. Blinky and Frey, the tag team with Jake on the bottom side, do win out. But
is that going to be Baron? I mean, right now there is such a high priority on this objective. And you can see there's still 10 seconds for people to come back up and alive. Do they actually just start this one out?
They do. Paprise, obviously, with the smite from Swayth, they can secure it from about 1.5k. Blinky has no ulti, no summoners, no safety. Frey doesn't have his either. He does have the flash for a taunt, but can they actually get in here?
Or is this just going to be a bait for the team fight? Over the wall goes Swayth, gets blown up, however. Now they're looking for the disengage, and Avant, they go in, they get their 1 kill. Double knock up, however. Frey will fall here. Actually, he picks up low on the back end. So much damage from the Galio. 2-for-1 trade.
And I feel like they could have actually committed. You bait AV into the pit. They had the TP flank coming from Shock. They tried to keep Swayth alive. That was the wings in fruition there. He wanted to jump in, land a Shen Taunt, be able to jump out to safety, but he just blows up immediately. That means tilting can't influence the play, doesn't get there. They don't get themselves a Baron.
Jake goes over the wall looking for a kill here. You can see multiple members fly into Baron Pit. Tilting will not be able to live here. Gets picked up, and straight away AV just continue the Baron.
Such a messy game right now. AV, it's their time to shine around the Baron. Swayth is actually in base, has no reach to get to this one. They're looking for
over the wall. Big damage out onto Shock. Has to burn the ultimate, but he will just fall. And with 2 members dead, Avant will definitely take this objective.
Yeah, TP still available for the Galio. Doesn't have the ulti, but he can get to the play. Swayth is looking here. Jakey
this is some nice
trying to
damage coming
him out.
Swayth keeps him out, but you have to worry about Paprise as well. Has the flash, has the eat. Frey teleports in. Pabu very low. Should just be picked up here. No.
Paprise
will fall down. Paprise now into the pit. 1,000. Picks it up with the feast and flashes out. Will he be able to live? You can see they're still looking to chase. And this game just got all kinds of weird.
This is the weirdest Baron play. When we're talking about 8.4, first Baron is just so important. Paprise.
Can he get out?
Warmogsing up his full HPs. TP is not available yet, so kind of just running into the Nexus, clearing out some waves, buying time for the Tectonic lineup.
Yeah, it doesn't want to give a kill over to Blinky. Blinky has yet to be able to auto-attack him. Throw out a Q.
There we go.
There it is. Only.
Stun him up. Got to take him down. They do give this one to Blinky as well. He has been the recipient of so many kills. Look at him. Hasn't died yet. 8, 0, and 3. He's picked up so many kills in these just random team fights we're seeing. They're going on for so long. They're so split, so messy. And you have to think that does favor the lineup of Tectonic, because AV, they have that one singular engage. They need to land it. But because Tectonic just overreaching here, overreaching there, tilting falls down. He's the safety.
He's
AV.
died 6 times.
Oh.
This is a fun game. We said that my biggest fear about this patch was we would no longer play League of Legends. We would play coin flip over Baron.
Yep.
And this game went from being, 16 kills, pretty high. Oh, actually, let's not talk about it yet because Swayth going to have to pop away. Jake goes in with the ultimate. This is going to be the lay in CC. He gets out but gets knocked up on the back end, tilting. Now in some trouble, taunts away. Swayth now looking for Jake. Somehow gets picked up over the wall from Blinky. That is a nice snipe. Ultimate will come across out of low, but kill no one.
He was trying to dodge out of the redemption. Jake has that one looking for the kill.
That's a suppression under turret. Only is a tanky man, but can he fall down? They're onto Frey as well. Blinky doing so much damage. Jake gets eaten, and I have no idea what's happening. Blinky throws out the ult, gets a 3-man route. However, only blocking that skill shot. Low wants it, misses the tag on the back line. Pabu kill shot, goes in. Hextech ultimatum. Tilting trying to survive. Does Paprise just eat him? He falls down. So does Tilting again. Paprise as well. How is Blinky still alive? Low, you got to get out of there. You just got to stop fighting. Gets caught up and falls down.
Tectonic overreach once again. That looks so good. Paprise is just so incredibly tanky. Sitting on 3 items right now. Is doing so much damage. But the unkillable giant does die in the end. Blinky picks himself up another 2 kills. And on the back end of that fight, they're going to get their 3rd drag in the Infernal. What is going? What is this? What is this game?
32 kills, 25 minutes in, 47,000 gold for a 25-minute game is monstrous. You have a 4-item 80 carry at 25 minutes into the game, of which 2 are BF sword items, so they're not cheap.
Jake, we've seen only a handful of 8.4 games. Yep. But this is the most 8.4 game of League of Legends we've ever seen. Oh my lord, what is going on? Swayth got to pick himself up a Scuttle Crab. But that's just about it right now. Gold lead is in favor of Avant.
Aegis has been picked up.
Yeah.
Will it be a locket? Will it be a banner? I don't know.
And I feel like the Knight's Vow should have been the banner. He had that completed when they had the Baron. Paprise, it wasn't reliable. He got a random, pretty, well-played steal on his part, but AV should have been able to force him out of the pit, right? That's not a reliable way to secure Baron, but they did get it.
Only's being engaged on right now. I hate to interrupt you, but I think we might have another fight. Not going to be the case. You can see right now, stick it in the 1-3-1.
Gonna back away there, but if he lucked out in that situation, they get that Baron, we were talking about Banner is a bit of a win more in this current state. If he had that one, they would have just been able to march up the Banner minion to the base, potentially break that one from AV. But
oh, Low going to be caught out here.
Fight.
Gets jumped on. Big
Oh,
damage
Jake.
comes across. Jake goes in. Low going to get blown up, and now they're on to Tilting. Tried to save his 80 carry. That's a bad idea.
And that is the pick they needed there. 2 members down from Tectonic, both bottom lane. That's going to be 8 deaths for Tilting right now. And there's so much standing gold still on the map. We're at 25 minutes, but there's only 2 turrets gone. So they're going to take their outer at almost 30 minutes.
Exactly right. And they're just going to be able to march this one up. That bottom lane turret's been alive for so long on the side of Avant as well. It's going to be about 5,000-ish gold. Do they just overstay and die again? I don't know.
I mean, there's only 3 members alive, so they should be able to pick this one up. They're looking to try and clear out the creep, but I do want to note something. Could this just be the lack of vision from junglers, meaning that Tilting has had to face check so many things? He's been caught out of position trying to get some semblance of jungle control because he's really the only one with wards. We talked about Trinket. Swait has the sweeper, so he's got literally none. So Tilting trying to kind of walk around the jungle when they do have the disadvantage, and AV just keep finding pick after pick.
And it is so much more dangerous to get to jungle vision when you're behind, as Blinky actually takes a third of his life bar from 1Q. They're going to stop the recalls here. If Jake continues, only will be by himself. No, they just continue to back away. Pabu going to get mid lane turret. So look at the support vision score. This is what I was talking about. If you're behind, you have to face check for vision right now. That's why Tilting keeps dying. You can see Jake, who's ahead, has doubled his vision score. And it's just so much easier on the current patches of support to get vision down if you're not going to be one shot.
And he's also, in terms of safety, not being one shot, he's opted in for the QSS. Obviously, Blinky incredibly accelerated, has those approaching 4 items. Would have had that one completed if he didn't go for the QSS, but just eliminating the potential for Tectonic to pick him off. But Jake, we mentioned it once again, he's picked that one up as well. So he just has so much safety, and you have to think Tilting can't afford that luxury. He has to go for straight-up stats. Otherwise, his team's just going to fall further and further behind.
Rylai's Leandries has been picked up for Shock in the mid lane. Interesting
did you
interaction,
know that it
Bryce.
has a damage amp? Did you know that, Jake? Because I didn't. I thought the Rylai's just procced and it ticked the Leandris, but no, it actually, if they're slowed, Leandris does more damage. So there you go, Malzahar. It's OP.
Certainly does. Of course, going to be a decreased slow because of the constant proc of the E. Damage over time abilities as well as AoE do not do as much. Pabu potentially going to be caught out here. Missed that. However, Swathe is in. Looking to just block the E off the wall and will be able to do so, but does he get one shot? No. That's the ultimate coming in from the Shen. They'll be able to get the knock up. They'll be able to get the feast. And meanwhile, AV will push mid lane.
But what can AV do on the other side? Jake has his ultimate. Galio still sitting on the flank, but no, they're not opting in for that one. They just want the top side vision control. 30 seconds on the Baron. And they just have so much control. Tectonic have so little wards around this blue buff area in their top side jungle. It's going to be incredibly hard for them to face check a Baron.
But I feel like this Cho'Gath is just getting bigger and bigger. And Cho'Gath is actually a tank that scales into the late game because of the nature of the true damage on his ultimate.
Yep.
It's not like a Scion that just is there for CC. He will one-hit Blinky if he gets in range.
Not to mention, not even one-hitting Blinky, because the biggest thing, if you just do true damage, it doesn't matter if you have a tanky Galio in your face. If he gets to 1k, you can just one-shot him on the Cho'Gath. So it's not even about one-shotting a carry. If Frey gets in there and he gets one-shot immediately, suddenly AV's lineup looks incredibly squishy, and Malzahar and Ezreal can look for extra damage. But bit of a Fnatic push coming out of AV
Certainly
right
is,
here.
But if they just taunt it, they'll go, no, instead it's going to be the Ezreal blown up. Bouncy Castle is there, and they'll continue the fight. And we talked about it, you're tanky, Paprise, but can you really take the whole team? The answer looks like it is no. So that is going to be a triple kill picked up
and
the Blinky.
That is the perfect engage that AV needed there. Face checking into the bush, multiple members, layer the CC. It just looks so easy when Tectonic face check into the bush.
Swathe has to flash away. Blinky now wants him, however, does not have a way to get into the pit now. So that will be Baron picked up for Avant. And now Swathe is on the wrong side of the map.
Finally, they actually secure themselves a Baron. Paprise nowhere near to steal that one away. They shepherd away the bug in Kha'Zix.
Now, I didn't think the game was going to go this long, so we didn't hit on it. But Elder Dragon has also been changed this patch.
First Dragon, fairly similar for the most part, but the second one, if you get to 2, if you get to super late game, obviously spawning at 35 and then 8 minutes on that cooldown, so 45, 43 minutes on the second one. And it's not just second one in general, it's second one for your team. So if you actually pick it up, pick up the first one, pick up the second one, it's just so obscenely broken. Instead of half the bonuses you get from the Dragons, you get the full bonus. Not to mention it doesn't last just like 3 minutes, it lasts 5. It's just so obscenely strong. And they're going to be taking away the Dragon now. So the next one spawning, if the game goes that long, will be the Elder.
Exactly right. And if it goes for a little bit longer, we're going to see the Super Drake come over. As that's actually engaged over the wall. Sway going to have to hop out. This is a lot of ultimates. Actually, it's just Jake's ultimate use. Forget what I said.
Yep. He's sitting on a bunch of CDR right now, fully capped, so that one will count down fairly quickly, but it is basically the only engage tool that can get him in the backline. Pablo sitting in the side lane, can't really engage onto the 4, hasn't found those opportunities, so it is on Jake. They blow that cooldown early without getting a pick, so Tectonic should be able to hold for a little bit here.
Only takes some damage, but we'll be able to Warmogs that one back up. And you can see these Baron creeps now take less damage from champions. They're going to be a little bit more resilient as they come in for the siege. 100% crit has been... No, it's not. I lie. That's a Merc Scimitar. Has no crit on it.
But about less than a quarter of the Rakan ulti coming up, and AV kind of just posturing around. They still have some time on the Baron, about half left. Jake sitting in this Pinkwood bush. Tectonic really want to clear it, so they bring over Paprise, they bring over the tank. They know he's sitting in there. They do respect it, but his ulti's now available. Can he find himself into the backline? He has the flash. He's found it so many times already this game. They're going to look for it once again.
You see that whilst we've been talking about Blinky, Frey's also quietly picked him up 6 items as Blinky actually gets chucked out. Does he get eaten here? They go in, they take him so low, but he uses a QSS, uses the ult, gets the hell out of dodge. They're ulted up Frey. Paprise stuck in there. You can see Sway grab Blinky on the back end, now low over the wall onto Frey. Can he continue chasing out? He does not.
And this is what we were saying. AV blow all their buttons, but they can't pick up any kills. Their Paprise falls so incredibly low. But Blinky actually died, so numbers advantage over to Tectonic, and they don't have their ulti, so AV can't hold the pressure.
And you can see silence. It's such a rare kind of CC to see. However, there is AoE silence coming out of Cho'Gath, as well as Shock in this game. So Blinky really needs to be careful because you cannot use summoner spells or abilities during it. And you can see he didn't want to burn the QSS. In the end, had to.
Yep, he does get knocked up, and that's the signal for Jake to try and save him, but they just barely. He walks up to do more damage, and he does die in the back end of this. Paprise survived for so long. Swaith just picks him up, and actually Blinky just missing pinged immediately as soon as he died. And as soon as these buttons are gone, we mentioned it. Tectonic dashing forward low, looking for more. They are significantly far behind already, 8,000 gold lead after winning the fight. So there was an even bigger lead there.
And this is the danger when you play one of these comps. I hate playing AD carry in one of these comps, so I really feel for Blinky.
Yep.
Because everyone else on your team is going to fly into them.
Yep.
And then you're kind of going to be stuck on the back line. This is what Radier was famous for, of just like having to self-peel.
Yep.
Like, you were not defending him when he was playing in the game.
I was flashing in.
You were flashing in. And you can see right now, Jake is flashing in. He's going for the big engages and only didn't sit on his AD carry. If he sits there, just counter-strikes, there's no way that that kill comes across. Swaith dies in 2 autos, but everyone forgot about him, and then Blinky, unfortunately, pays the price.
I mean, in saying that, though, the engage was sparked on Blinky just tanking the knockup from Paprise, so they kind of had to.
Mate,
they had to go in to stop the damage coming out.
He's died the least on Summoner's Rift. He's
That was
allowed
his
to make
first
one
death.
mistake.
I mean, yeah, well, Reckless died once today, and they lost the game off it, so that could have been the one mistake that allows Tectonic to stabilize. We'll see. Taking away the blue buff, they've just had no control over their jungle for the past 5 minutes here in Tectonic.
Yep.
Obviously, we've talked about it time and time again, the lack of vision makes it so hard to actually contest. So they're just kind of sitting in their lanes, sitting in their base.
In saying that, Swaith kind of does his job anyway. I don't think he really cares.
Yep.
Like, he's got himself to his 2 lethality items. He's going to pick up a 3rd. He's got level 16. It's only maybe caught out. No, will not be. You can see that right now, Paprise is very intimidating.
But there is wave clear available here. No Baron buff is on AV, so Siege gets one up. They're just going to hold the pressure, kind of hold Tectonic in the base. I feel like they're not really going to be contesting a dive anytime soon. In saying that, they have the tools. If they find the perfect storm, if Tectonic do a bad job at not clumping, if multiple carries stand on top of each other, Jake can just pull the trigger at the drop of a hat, has the flash, has the ulti available.
I feel like at this stage of the game, we also have to talk about the difference in Leandri. He's no longer does magic penetration, however, has a flat hand. Jake going in onto the back line, gets low, big taunt coming across here. You can see Swaith jumps into the back line. He got Blinky again, and now the split fight means that tilting may go down. No, he does not. Frey has to flash the wall. Shut down coming across, and that is a 2 for nothing.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Jake, he looked for the opportunity, thought he saw it, but just misses the mark. Only gets onto the low, onto the Ezreal. He doesn't fall down, both summoners, and gets himself to safety. And as soon as that combo's gone, they just lose. Tectonic hold that, and this is the window. They haven't had control over top side of the map at all for the past 5-10 minutes. This will be the window. Baron spawning in a minute 20 that can actually get some of that back.
Exactly right, and I feel like that's the wrong call. You've had control of topside for so long. Wait an extra minute. Get your recall, go to Baron, make them come to you. Stop turret diving, fight in the open with this awesome team fighting comp. Instead, they don't do that. And now the game, honestly, we're getting close to 6-item territory. Who cares about the gold lead?
Yeah, 100%. 6K right now, but it just does not seem to matter. It's all about the execution, and I feel like Jake, all early game, first 20 minutes, every single one landed, but now it seems like it's faltering. Tectonic can read the play coming low, finds himself to safety. They're not clumping up like Jake wants them to.
It's actually a locket of the Iron Solari picked up out of Mr. Tilty. So not going for that, as Pabu going to continue to split push on the bottom lane.
I can sort of understand it. In the position
so
that
many
they,
team fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the position the game they were in, they're just sitting in their base. He has no business building a banner for the chance that they get a Baron, because right then, until AV actually threw that engage, he's like, look, we're not getting out of the base. I just need the extra shield to try and turn a team fight before I can even think about getting to a Baron.
Which, to his credit, he did.
Yep.
Locket was used in that team fight and used beautifully, if you do not mind. You can see right now, Baron control is on the side of Tectonic. However, do they trade Baron for Elder Drake? Because there are 4 of them right now.
That is absolutely huge. If AV could get this one up, they do look like they're trading sides of the map right now. They don't care about the Baron buff. They still seem to be stronger if they can land their team fight, but both buffs spawning similar time.
In saying that, Baron's combat stat also got buffed. This will be close to like 80 ability power right now for the Malzahar. And if he is close to a death cap, which he must be because he's sitting on a needlessly large rod, will still be very good. Also, not to mention the fact that it is very hard to push into Baron creeps now.
And that's the biggest thing, is that Baron, out of the 2, if you're a team that's behind, Baron actually makes it kind of easier to defend, because you have to influence the minions as well. Clearing the wave is so important. It's just going to be so hard for AV to actually push on. The wave clear out of Tectonic is there. It's not great, but you have Malefic Visions coming out of the Malzahar. You can clear them as they come. Frey sitting in mid lane right now. They're trying to push in multiple waves at a time. But this does give Tectonic a window to clear this one out.
Not to mention the fact that they've got no range out of Frey and no range out of Blinky. So I feel this is one of those games that you actually cannot hit turrets. If you're not in a deep 1-3-1 and shoving all lanes perfectly simultaneously, this is one of those games where your comp just doesn't break the base.
And it has to be frustrating for AV, honestly. The last 2 engages they've tried to force onto Tectonic haven't been as successful as they've seen before. Jake, without the flash right now, it looks like AV aren't really willing to force themselves into a dive. Baron does last slightly longer than Elder Drake as well.
And once again, Frey as well as Pabu have not picked up QSSs. Neither has the Jax. And we've talked about this. You would think it's a carry item, but really, if they're able to start a fight, as now they get access to the turret, they will shred this one down. However, Paprise is holding the door. Jake goes in, will have to get out immediately, and you can see the damage is just so much. Knock-up achieved, but they grab Frey. No QSS. Blinky falls down, and now Frey, trying to deal with 4 members, will follow him. Paprise, however, gets flashed on. Also, that's a 2-for-2 trade.
The engage onto the Cho'Gath actually looks so weird out of Jake. He gets Frey in there as well, but they don't kill any members on the initial engage. Swayth actually picked up the Rakan, so Blinky does live long enough, so they do break the base. They break down that inhib. They have the slight advantage right now, but 3v3, can they break bottom as well?
Yeah, have to see, because the mid laner is dead, who right now is so much of the damage. You can see Pabu in the base. Blinky in the base, trying to corral them.
Nethergrass is actually back off cooldown so quick from the Malzahar. Blinky doesn't have ulti, he doesn't have the summoners. If they do contest this one, would have been death for the Xayah, so they do smartly back away. Gold lead still firmly in their favor, but as we progress, just means less and less.
Well, you can see 6 items picked up for low. Really, he's waiting for, you know, that completion of the Merc Scimitar. He's absolutely fine. Now we're going for things like the Guardian Angel onto the Kha'Zix, who has actually been instrumental in these team fights. It's probably going to be the Stone Plate being picked up for Cho'Gath and the Death Cap. The exponential scaling is still there for Tectonic, but it's all being used up on the side of Avant.
100%. I do feel like the Guardian Angel coming out of Swayth will be a big deal. He's found the pick in the backline time and time again. That's pretty hard to do, especially in a messy team fight where there's so many tanks on AV, and he continues to find his way onto Jake, onto Blinky to actually pick up a 1-for-1 trade. If he gets that 1-for-1, but suddenly he's revived, numbers advantage for Tectonic, that's a big deal.
Can we just take a look at Paprice's health? Because he's going to be doing so much damage right now.
6.8k.
Without Stone Plate active.
That's going to double. He is going to be absolutely
13,600 health Cho'Gath.
He will just one-shot something. If he pops that, he has flash available right now. If he just feasts your head, that's popping.
I can't play Cho'Gath anymore. Do you know why I can't play Cho'Gath?
His walk animations
No,
too
do you
slow?
know when you play a game and like if you play the same champion twice in a row and your game goes for 60 minutes, you feel weaker?
Yeah.
I can't play Cho'Gath because I play a 60-minute game and I look so big.
Yep.
And then next game, I'm just a mini thing.
Yep.
And
In
I'm
like level 1 Cho'Gath is a pipsqueak.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, he's just a little pipsqueak sitting up at the top lane. You're laning against like a Scion. He's just
massive.
a big, beefy dude. Feels bad.
You kind of have to be patient to play Cho'Gath because you're not big straight away.
No.
But you get there, as Swaith has proven this game. Just got to hope the team holds on for you to be tall. I don't think that's what they hold on for. However, a little bit of a lull in the game. 42 minutes. We said it was going to be quick. I think the game has been quick. It just hasn't ended.
Yeah, 100%. AV just have not found the window. And it could have just ended at the drop of a hat. If Jake just clipped one more person with one of those engages at around 30 minutes, the game would have just been over.
Yep.
But he hasn't. So we've actually seen a 42-minute game on patch 8.4 right now. OPL, even on 8.3, the average game time was significantly shorter than this already.
Yep.
So AV, no Baron as well. So sieging up the base will be incredibly hard, but they do have that mid inhib down. But in terms of all the inhibs, the mid one is the easiest to deal with. It means you can access both side lanes. If you throw low in the mid lane to clear that one out, he can just walk back over, but they've actually just thrown Swaith there instead.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about Swaith is that Pabu can't hit the turret because if Swaith combos his ability, Pabu probably dies, which is not what you want out of your top laner at this stage of the game.
And this is what sort of happens without those pure split pushing top laners like Fiora. If you get to late game, like you have the sustain and you have the ability to kill the
They're throwing multiple members over here. You can see Paparize is tanky, but he's not that tanky. Will fall down pretty low. However, now Pabu looking for it. Does get knocked up, but they will continue. Paparize has to probably go back and shop now. And Pabu should be able to push in on this turret. No, he sticks around.
Yeah, Frey actually backing away means Pabu in the 1v1 can't actually contest.
Why did Frey back away there?
I feel like potentially the call might have been made out of Jake. They're looking to contest the mid lane. They might have been looking for a play, so he wanted to back away, sit in the ultimate range. Didn't want to be knocked up by Paparize because that can be cancelled on the very start of the animation.
Yeah, you see Paparize with the Warmogs. The health regen is just so big. Jake kind of walking in the base saying, come on, jump on me, I dare ya. They say, no thanks, we're just going to defend our turret.
Third Baron spawning in 1 minute. This is exactly the same situation as we were in before for the second. AV have so much topside control. Is it 4?
Tectonic got one.
Yeah,
Avant
I feel like AV have had 2.
And Tectonic got another one. So Tectonic's has 2, Avant's had 1. This is Baron number 4 coming up.
All right, I can't count. Can't do basic maths, unfortunately.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for, mate.
Yeah.
You bring all the other in-game knowledge.
Yeah, you
I'll
grind
bring
the wiki, mate.
skills.
You grind the calculator, grind the wiki.
As Lota gets taken down very low, Frey now joins the rest of the team. And I feel like this is big. Pabu keeping Paparize out is actually a pretty big deal. And Pabu still gets the turret.
Yeah, finally is able to break that one. But engaged. Looking like it was coming up, but only just going to take a bit of a chunk. 25 seconds.
Mid lane inhibitor went down as well. So as the longer this siege goes, the more it's starting to favor Avant.
The breaking point will be very soon. 20 seconds on the Baron. They're still looking for this top lane turret, trying to keep Tectonic in the base, but this one spawning in 10.
Wants Pabu. You can see stealthing around the whole map. Will not be able to land that. However, slow lands. Goes back in onto Swaith, and Pabu going very low. Where is the ultimate coming out of Paparize? Does not even need it. Fantastic gank setup, but Avant are on Baron.
Can they actually contest this one? About half HP, it will go down, but they might just look for the fight anyway. No, they're just going to back off, push up in the side lanes. Elder Drake spawning in 50 seconds.
And that's the big one, because they're going to have to face check. Pabu, 49 seconds on his death timer. They're pretty much in sync. However, channel time means that this just might fall, or the face check might result in some kills.
And do they actually face check? This would be second Elder to AV if they do grab it, and that is just game ending immediately. So many bonuses.
Don't do it. Get silence. Where is the ultimate? There it is. No QSS picked up. They don't layer the CC. Swaith gets charmed up. He falls down into GA. And this might be the fight that Avant are looking for. You can see that Pabu's still dead for 20 seconds. Frey, silenced up. Will go golden with that QSS. Only goes back in. Frey on the back line will continue to live. Low solo. And Paparize is huge on the back end. Blinky's running around in circles. Only is soloing out so many. Frey goes back in. Will finally go down. How is Paparize still alive? Shock looking for the continued fight, but Blinky chases him out. He is so massive. In goes Jake. Triple kill for Blinky, and a Tectonic get rinsed.
And Blinky was on 1 HP, and he's now back to full. This will You have to think, no, they don't actually go for the
No,
open.
that's
They're
the
just
end of the
looking
game.
for the end. 50 seconds on the mid lane, a 40 on about everyone else. They're looking for the end.
Yeah, Low gonna try and kite this one out, gonna try and put on some heroics, gets stunned up, gets Hextech ultimatum, and Parvu just one-hits him. And with that, 46 minutes into this game, Avant will look to end.
Yeah, that was the Fnatic push. Round 2 we seen, but tides were turned. Tectonic just couldn't quite stick the engage. But they also went onto a Guardian Angel Jax.
First patch on 8.4, 46 minutes, 53 kills, but Avant Gaming will be victorious.
Damn, that was something. That was the messiest game we've seen in the OPL for a long time. That was so back and forth. AV, they were kind of just in the lead for the most part. Tectonic steal away a Baron, but the team fights were just so close to swinging either way every single time.
That was fun.
That was fun. That was weird. That was spicy. That was fun.
I enjoyed as a play-by-play caster now, I enjoyed that. That's one of those games that colors are like, this is awful, and I'm like, this is brilliant.
It's so hard to read what's going on. You just don't know. Things just happen, and that's the nature of AV's comp. They have the Galio, the Rakan, the Camille. They can just engage a team fight literally whenever they want. And they do time and time again. They're so close, but eventually it is enough.
And that time around, I think the part of Galio Ultimate that you forget is the damage reduction that he gives to people.
Blinky was like,
that's what
so
actually
low.
saved it. That time around, it was actually not an engaging Galio ulti onto a tank. It was a saving Galio ulti onto a carry.
Yep.
And I mean, he's kind of based around Superman loosely. That looks pretty Superman-esque.
Yeah.
Just swooped in, picked up lowest lane in Zaya, and zoomed around the rest of the fight.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And it was interesting because it was kind of the same fight on two fronts where Only was trying to solo out low on the bottom hand side, but lived for long enough, had his GA procced as well. There was kind of that extra layer of zone control that Low kind of had to kill him twice to get back into the fight. Because if the Ezreal was able to hit Blinky literally once at any point during that last team fight, he goes down. Tectonic wiped the floor with him. They pick up Elder. Suddenly, like, gold lead is about even there in the game. But as you mentioned, the damage reduction, only zoning away the Ezreal means Blinky just barely lives. And that's the game.
Yeah, it certainly is. And with that, Tectonic eliminated from all playoff hopes now. Not able to make the gauntlet. Couple more wins and Avant will secure themselves. However, let's throw it over to Laura and Choo Choo's to break that game down further.
Thank you very much, guys. The chaos of 8.4 has officially begun. Avant able to pick up game number 1, but I don't think they'll necessarily be happy with it. Choo-choos, I want to start talking about the draft. You weren't sure about Tectonic banning Skarner on blue side, then picking up Kha'Zix, and them also not having a reaction or counter for Galio in that mid lane.
Yeah, so I thought the draft heavily favored AV. I think the biggest thing I'd like to tell everyone at home is that AV's composition peaked relatively around the middle game. I don't think it's scaled as well as Malzahar Ezreal does. As you could see, a lot of the late game team fights, even though they were like 10k gold down, they were still winning. So I think AV definitely misexecuted around the middle game. They didn't really get any opportunity to like slow down anything because the game was so fast paced. Like people would respawn, run to a lane, and there'd be another fight, which is like fun to watch. But it was really an action-packed game, and I don't think AV were ever given like an opportunity to like settle down because Tectonic was so oppressive.
Cyclone said in his interview that team fighting was really scary for them, but both teams did have a team fighting composition, yet they didn't really seem to be able to execute them properly. As we see in this replay, Choo-Choo's walk us through it.
Yeah, so it starts off with a nice Malzahar ult onto Jax, but you can see both teams are kind of just going in and out. I think the biggest thing, one of the biggest letdowns, I would say, was Low's performance on Ezreal. And he's flashed up in this fight, and even in the last fight, he probably could have done a lot more work on this champion. You hit 3 very low members. He has to use Flash defensively here to get away from the Counter-Strike. But I think like Low is a guy who does really well on Tristana and champions who can kind of just sentry turret and just sit down and just auto-attack and do a lot of damage. But Ezreal is a champion that you really need to like dash in and out, move around, like teleport to the side, and I think he didn't. I think he underperformed this game.
In saying that, though, I feel like AV quite a few times were trying to push mid and get into their base, but had no luck in doing so. I think there was a point where Blinky was even 16-1 or 16-2, and they still couldn't get into the base.
I think like they kind of figured out how the game was playing out. Versing Cho'Gath I think this game Pat Bryce played very well on that champion in laning phase and out in team fights. But you could see Blinky 14 on 0. we would expect him to carry the game. But Galio Rakan all dive in, as Spawn said on the desk. No one's peeling for Blinky. Blinky just gets one shot by the Kazakhs Cho'Gath duo. And Blinky was kind of just screaming for help the entire game. I think towards the end, the final team fight, you can see Galio goes on to him because they knew that Xayah is the win condition, but it did take them a while to figure that out. So going into the next game, AV need to address like their win condition a bit more.
But it did take AV also 46 minutes to close out this game. And you said, and a lot of people have also said that, in 8.4, games are meant to be a lot shorter. So is this something that could work in Tectonic's favour, the fact that they were able to stall the game out so far? And what can they do in Game 2 to have a chance in this series?
I think I didn't really mind Tectonic's composition. I think it's upsetting that they couldn't play Corki into Malzahar. Because into Galio, because that is like a good matchup for Corki. He can just farm up and scale freely. But I think if they get a similar composition, just like a control mage on Shock, a nice tank like Cho'Gath or Sign onto Paprise, and then Swaith can just do his thing. I don't think like Swaith played Kazakhs that game and just could like dash in and eliminate a target. But I think Tectonic is a team that does work very well around like team fighting and playing as a five-man unit, which is a very simple way of playing, but it's what works for them. AV, on the other hand, need to find a way to slow the game down, slow this Fiesta down, so that they can play their win condition.
Well, we're going to see if Tectonic can bring it back in Game 2 shortly. But I want to spend some time talking about the brand new champion, Kaisa, because she's launching on Thursday, I believe. Yeah. And you and I had a brief opportunity to play her on the PvE this morning. She's a lot of fun.
Kaisa is broken. I think like a weak point is her passive, which is you need to get 4 auto attacks down before you can really proc it. It's similar to Vayne, True Silver Bolts, but it's 4 auto attacks, which is quite a lot. But her E gives her invisibility once it gets evolved. Yep. And she can also dash with her ultimate. I mean, she gets in and out. Thresh is a nice champion to play with. But I think the biggest thing we agreed on is that if she is played in the bottom lane, you do need a support that has some movement impairing effect.
Yep.
Because that does apply a stack of her plasma. And I think she does scale relatively well into the late game.
You also thought that she might have some weak points in that early game, seeing as she doesn't have a lot of movement speed.
So it does take a while for her abilities to evolve. Like she needs a certain amount of stats and attack damage, ability power, or attack speed, which comes around 1.5 to 2 items. But like no champion gets to those items for free. She doesn't have a dash or anything, so she is a bit easy to lock down. I would say that's her biggest weakness, but when she does get to that stage around 1 or 2 items, she's very fun.
She's pretty all in.
She's similar to Vayne because her E makes her go invisible, and then she auto attacks, and every auto attack reduces the cooldown of her E. So like she kind of auto attacks, E's goes invisible, and then auto attacks a bit more, and she kind of dashes in and out.
She also scales with AP a bit, and I know some people have been trying her mid AP, but you tried her AP and you weren't a fan.
Not a fan. Like, like she relies too much on her W to hit, and her W is very long range, but it's just too small. It's I don't know, like it's like a Morgana Q.
Yeah.
Like you have to, and it goes a bit faster than a Morgana Q, but it's all her damage when you play her AP. So I don't really see her a place in mid lane.
I tried her jungle though, and I know some people have been playing her jungle as well, but I actually think she's pretty viable in the jungle. Her W has an insane range on it, and then when you combo it with the ult, that is just like a huge gank. You're in the enemy's face. And I think there's also an opportunity when you evolve her E that you can do some close combat ganking. Like if you're trying to gank mid and you're in that river bush, then you can gank using the E instead of the W if, I don't know, it's on cooldown or you missed your W or something.
Her E is definitely like the play-making ability. I think that what defines her really is like if she can, because you need 100% attack speed to unlock that one. And when you do unlock it, it gives you invisibility, more movement speed, more attack speed. And I think that's like really her bread and butter. I think her Q is pretty nice. Like it does a bunch of missiles.
Yeah.
And her W applies 2 stacks of her plasma, and her ult like can dash and give her a big shield. But what AD carry really like wants to dash in and get a shield, you know? Like I think she's more of a champion that wants to like hunt people down. And that's where I see her as being a jungler. Is that if you are trying to gank people or trying to hunt people down, she's a great champion because she's got very big range and she can catch people with her invisibility.
I think the cherry on top for me too is that her Battle Angel skin is really sweet. But she was a lot of fun to play.
Of course, that's what you think, Laura.
Skins count, okay. If I'm going to spend my money or RP on something, it's got to look good. I encourage you all to play her when she comes out on Thursday. We're going to head to a short break, but when we get back, we're going to have Game 2 between Tectonic and Avant. Don't miss it.
Gets a three-man charm. Galio follows up, and you can see Swaith jumps in. He's looking for Only, who flashes the wall. Swaith still wants him on the back end of the fight. That is a massive knock-up from Paprise. Blinky throws out the ult, gets a three-man route. However, Only blocking that skill shot. Low wants it, misses the tag. On the back line, Pabu kill shot, goes in. Hextech ultimatum. Tilting trying to survive. Does Paprise just eat him? He falls down, so does Tilting again. Paprise as well. How is Blinky still alive? Low, you got to get out of there. You just got to stop fighting. Gets caught up and falls down. Only goes back in. Frey on the back line will continue to live. Low solo, and Paprise is huge on the back end. Blinky's running around in circles. Only is soloing out so many. Frey goes back in. Will finally go down. How is Paprise still alive? Shock looking for the continued fight, but Blinky chases him out. He is so massive. In goes Jake. Triple kill for Blinky. 46 minutes, 53 kills, but Avant Gaming will be victorious.